At 57, Neal told his doctor, and that was me, and this is when he first came to me, he said, I know I've got maybe 6 years to live. I want to get some things done because I know I'm going to be dying soon. And I said, why do you say you've only got 6 years to live? Well, he replied, because I've got calcium in my heart. I've got a score of almost 300. I know there are plenty of people listening today who have scores over 1,000. I've got plenty of patients with scores well over 1,000, multiple thousand. And I said that to him, and it was like, I wanted to take his concerns seriously, but I also wanted him to take my reaction seriously. A calcium score of 300, an Agatston score of 300 is not a death sentence. Let me repeat, a calcium score of 300 is not a death sentence. And for those of you with a calcium score over 1,000, that's not a death sentence either. It's not. You can control this. I told Neal, consider the fact that 70% of people age 57, your age, Neal, have a positive calcium score. 300 is not a death sentence. According to Agatston, 300 is moderate risk. Neal was 5 feet 10 and weighed 240 pounds. Well, guess what? The two most dominant risk factors. What were the two? Obviously, you're probably looking at that and saying, well, Brewer, he's the same height you are. You weigh 160, 155. He weighs 240. That's a problem. That's correct. And he doesn't, and I can tell you, he did not look like Arnold Schwarzenegger when he won the Mr. Olympia contest. He did not have that kind of muscle definition, and he did not have a 32-inch waist. His waist was over 40. So he had a lot of body fat. That was clearly one of the major risk factor, but he had another one, which again, as we've said many times, is even more important. He was 57 years old. So age and obesity are doing this to countless people. He did have work to do. If it's successful, he could expect decades more of healthy life. And that was clearly my message to him. So the first thing we did with Neal was get an IMT. We knew Neal had plaque, but we wanted to know how much of that was active. He had started a diet. It was more of a plant-based diet. Wasn't really watching carbs so much at that time. We were alarmed. His arteries were the equivalent of somebody over 80 years of age. And I mean, we see that a lot. Significant plaque. A lot of it was soft. And that enabled us to get aggressive with Neal's treatment. Diet, exercise. He did have plaque, so I don't recommend statins usually based on LDL alone. I recommend it based on presence of plaque mostly. He had it, I recommended it. He did agree to statins. He had high blood pressure and he had diabetes. Not pre-diabetes, he had full-blown diabetes. His blood sugar went way over 200 when we challenged it. And guess what? His fasting glucose was 93. So other doctors had always said, you don't have a glucose problem. No, he didn't have pre-diabetes. Yes, he had a glucose problem. He had full-blown diabetes. So he got off, he started saying, I can't eat carbs. So he got on metformin. He got on blood pressure medication. He lost 40 pounds. Now he actually decided to go back off of his metformin. He needed to go off of his hypertension medication because he started getting a little bit dizzy when he would bend over, having some of that problem. He went from a state of having inflammation in his arteries to no inflammation. Now, guess what? His calcium score went up another 400 from 300 to 700. And guess what? You can probably predict the story again. First of all, I discouraged him about getting those. And secondly, he calmed down and he said, well, you're right. You told me that. It was clear that I had a lot of soft plaque in there, and it was clear that I calcified it. Neal's in a good place now.